When we picture someone having a heart attack, the image that often comes to mind is of an older individual, perhaps someone in their 60s or 70s, clutching their chest. For generations, this has been the prevailing narrative, a health crisis seemingly reserved for our parents and grandparents. However, the ground beneath our feet is shifting, and the statistics are telling a new, more urgent story. Medical professionals are witnessing a concerning and undeniable trend. Heart attacks are increasingly affecting younger adults, including those in their 20s and 30s. This is not a distant problem for a future you. It is a clear and present danger that demands our immediate attention and understanding. The age of invincibility is over. This rising tide of cardiovascular events among the young is a complex issue, but it signals a profound change in public health. While heart attack rates have been steadily declining in older populations, thanks to better treatments and awareness, they are climbing in adults under the age of 40. This is a perplexing reversal that has doctors and researchers deeply concerned about the long-term health of today's younger generations. We can no longer afford to view heart disease as a condition that only develops after decades of life. The seeds of this serious medical emergency are often planted much earlier, cultivated by habits and conditions that begin in our youth and silently progress until it is almost too late. The reasons for this alarming increase are multifaceted, weaving together a story of modern lifestyles, genetic predispositions, and a general lack of awareness. It's easy for a young person to dismiss a fleeting chest pain or shortness of breath as nothing more than stress or anxiety. The belief that I'm too young for a heart attack is a pervasive and dangerous myth. But the reality is that the arteries of a young adult can show significant signs of damage that directly leads to the blockages that cause heart attacks. Understanding why this is happening is the first critical step toward reversing the trend and protecting your most vital organ for the long, healthy life you deserve. This essay will serve as your guide to navigating this new reality. We will explore the primary lifestyle factors that are putting young hearts at risk, from the well-known dangers of smoking to the hidden perils of poor sleep and chronic stress. We will also delve into the role that genetics and other underlying medical conditions can play, even in those who appear outwardly healthy. Most importantly, we will arm you with practical, actionable knowledge about prevention, early warning signs to watch for, and how to advocate for your own health. The goal is not to scare you, but to empower you with information, because taking control of your heart health starts today, not decades from now. At the forefront of this health crisis are the choices we make every single day. Lifestyle factors are the single most significant contributors to the rise in heart attacks among young people. Topping the list is smoking. The link between tobacco use and cardiovascular disease is absolute and devastating. About half of all young heart attack patients are smokers. Smoking is not just a bad habit. It is a direct assault on your entire circulatory system. It damages the lining of your blood vessels, makes your blood stickier and more prone to clotting, and accelerates the buildup of fatty plaque in your arteries, a condition known as atherosclerosis. There is no safe amount of smoking. Even occasional use or exposure to secondhand smoke puts your heart in jeopardy. Following closely behind smoking is the dual threat of rising obesity and type 2 diabetes rates. Our modern environment, with its abundance of processed foods and more sedentary lifestyles, has fueled an epidemic of weight gain in younger populations. Carrying excess weight, particularly around the abdomen, places a tremendous strain on the heart, forcing it to work harder to pump blood. This often leads to the development of high blood pressure and high cholesterol. Furthermore, obesity is a primary driver of type 2 diabetes, a condition where the body cannot properly use insulin, leading to high blood sugar levels that can severely damage blood vessels over time, making a heart attack much more likely. Another major culprit that has become increasingly common in our fast-paced world is chronic stress and the resulting high blood pressure or hypertension. The pressures of work, finances, and social obligations can lead to a constant state of physiological alert, flooding the body with stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This sustained stress response can raise your blood pressure, and over time that elevated pressure acts like a relentless force against your artery walls. This consistent pounding can damage the delicate inner lining of the arteries, making them more susceptible to plaque buildup and rupture, which is the direct trigger for most heart attacks. This is why managing stress is not just about mental well-being, it's a critical component of heart health. Finally, we cannot overlook the profound impact of poor sleep and substance use. In our 24/7 culture, quality sleep is often the first thing to be sacrificed, but it is essential for cardiovascular recovery. A lack of sufficient sleep keeps your body in that stressed state, promoting inflammation and elevating blood pressure. At the same time, the increased use of substances like cocaine and marijuana is directly linked to a higher risk of heart attack. Cocaine can cause severe spasms in the coronary arteries, shutting off blood flow to the heart, while studies show that marijuana use can also increase the immediate risk of a cardiovascular event. These factors combine to create a perfect storm, putting even the youngest hearts under unprecedented strain. While lifestyle choices are the primary drivers, they don't tell the whole story. For some young people, the risk of a heart attack is written into their genetic code. A strong family history of heart disease, especially if a close relative like a parent or sibling had a heart attack at a young age, before 55 for men or 65 for women, is a major red flag. This indicates a potential inherited predisposition that can increase your risk even if you maintain a perfectly healthy lifestyle. It's crucial to know your family's medical history, as it can be one of the most important pieces of information you share with your doctor, prompting earlier and more thorough screening for potential issues. Beyond a general family history, there are specific and rare genetic disorders that can lead to extremely early heart disease. One such condition is homozygous familial hypercholesterolemia, or HoFH, a serious disorder that affects about 1 in every 250,000 people. Individuals with HoFH have inherited faulty genes from both parents, resulting in dangerously high levels of bad LDL cholesterol from birth. This extreme cholesterol buildup can cause aggressive and premature coronary artery disease, leading to heart attacks in childhood or early adulthood. While rare, its existence highlights that high cholesterol isn't always a result of diet. For some, it is a genetic certainty that requires immediate and aggressive medical intervention. Other underlying medical conditions, often originating in childhood, can also set the stage for a heart attack later in life. Kawasaki disease, an illness that causes inflammation in the walls of arteries throughout the body, typically affects children under the age of 5. If it isn't treated promptly, the inflammation can damage the coronary arteries, leading to weak spots called aneurysms or narrowed sections called stenosis. These damaged areas are more prone to blood clots, significantly increasing the risk of a heart attack years or even decades later. Similarly, congenital heart defects, structural problems with the heart present at birth, can also elevate long-term risk if they are not properly monitored and managed throughout a person's life. Perhaps the most dangerous factor of all is the pervasive myth that young people are immune to heart attacks. This false sense of security leads many to ignore both their risk factors and their symptoms. Research shows that a staggering 90% of young patients who have a heart attack have at least one identifiable risk factor, such as smoking, high blood pressure, or a family history. Traditional risk calculators used by doctors often underestimate the danger in younger individuals because they place a heavy emphasis on age. This means a young person with multiple serious risk factors might still be labeled as low risk, creating a blind spot that prevents them from getting the preventative care they desperately need. The most powerful tool you have in protecting your heart is prevention, and it begins with making conscious, healthy choices every day. It's about building a foundation of well-being that will support you for a lifetime. This means maintaining a healthy weight through a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins, while minimizing processed foods, sugary drinks, and unhealthy fats. Regular physical activity is non-negotiable. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise, like brisk walking or cycling each week. Critically, if you smoke, quitting is the single most impactful thing you can do for your heart. And don't forget to prioritize your mental health by managing stress and ensuring you get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. It is also vital to be aware of your body and to recognize the early warning signs of heart trouble, which can be different or more subtle in young people compared to older adults. While the classic symptom is crushing chest pain, you should also pay attention to any unusual chest pressure, tightness, or aching, especially if it occurs during physical exertion and gets better with rest. Other critical signs to watch for include unexplained shortness of breath, dizziness or fainting, extreme fatigue, or pain that radiates to your arm, jaw, neck, or back. If you experience any of these symptoms, particularly during or after exercise, do not dismiss them. It is your heart's way of sending out an SOS signal. Given the rising risks, proactive screening is becoming more important than ever. If you have a strong family history of early heart disease, you should talk to your doctor about getting screened as early as your 20s. For others, starting these conversations between the ages of 25 and 30 is a wise move. Recommended tests often include a lipid profile to check your cholesterol levels, a high-sensitivity C-reactive protein test to measure inflammation, and sometimes a treadmill stress test to see how your heart responds to exertion. In some cases, a doctor might suggest a coronary artery calcium scan, which is a specialized X-ray that can detect plaque buildup in your arteries long before it causes any symptoms. The message here is one of hope and empowerment. The knowledge that heart attacks are affecting younger people should not be a source of fear, but a call to action. You have a remarkable amount of control over your cardiovascular destiny. By adopting a heart-healthy lifestyle, being vigilant about warning signs, and working with your doctor to understand your personal risk profile, you can significantly lower your chances of becoming a statistic. Your heart is your most precious asset. Taking care of it from a young age is one of the greatest investments you will ever make in yourself, ensuring a future that is not only long but also vibrant and healthy.